What's up, world? Working on the Subaru this time, and today I'll be changing the ball joints. From what I've researched, it shouldn't be too hard of a job, and the kit comes with fresh ball joint and new hardware, so I'm hoping this is a fairly quick job. Every time I say that, it's never quick at all, but we will see. So first things first, jacked up the car, have a jack stand under there for support. I'm gonna take off this wheel and then see how how difficult it is to remove the old one. I've got my tools with me, and I guess next thing to do is just to do it. So let's get started. All right, so it looks like it's the bolt here that needs to be pulled out, and then below we've got this cotter pin and the castle nut. So I guess I will start with the bolt here and see how easy it is to pull out. If this drops, it shouldn't go too far. It's still supported by the whole lower control arm, and I think everything else feels pretty tight. So all right, so down here it looks like this is a 14. Down here should be a 19. Find out for sure in a bit when I take this out. Well, I guess I'm doing it now. All right, so 19 is the castle nut. Don't know if you can see that. So this is a 19, this is a 14. Gonna break this out to create a gap to be able to pull this out. This is how it's shaped here. So the bolt is here, just holding it in place like a retainer basically. All right, pulling it out, you can see how bad it is. It shouldn't be that bent out of shape. So I'm gonna keep working this guy out and then hopefully pop that bottom one out in just a bit. But we'll get there. Keep working it out with the pry bar and the jack underneath the rotor. So we'll see. All right, so I got the old one out. Super bad. Shouldn't have any play this way, and definitely not that much this way. Yeah, that thing. Versus the new one, that's how it should be, nice and tight. So set this guy in place and then start to put it all back together. Alright, so I finally got the ball joint in place. Took a lot of convincing on my part to make it want to go where it belongs, but I finally got it, and now I just have to tighten up the nut and the bolt, put in the cotter pin, and then move on over to the other side. Alright, so here's a new ball joint put into place. Got everything tightened up. First one done. Took a lot longer than I expected, but it's done. Took maybe an hour. So one more on the other side and this will be good. right, got the second side in a lot quicker, maybe like 20 minutes. Took a lot of work. So I was lifting this up. You see that it moves pretty freely. So I had a piece of wood wedged between the axle and the control arm just to give me a little bit of leverage. And then I had a jack down here to hold this up. Be careful, because the problem I was having was that every time I jack it up here, the jack and the whole assembly would slide out like this and make it get further away from where it needed to go. It took me a little bit to figure that piece out, but I finally did, and I got it now. So just gonna put it all back together, tighten it up, and then go for a test drive. Before, it was tracking on the cracks in the road, which is super frustrating. And I'm hoping that it was just the ball joints. They were also clicking a little bit when I would turn. And everything else down here seems pretty stout. So if it gets rid of that, then I'll go take it to get an alignment, obviously, since I took it apart and put it back together. And let me put this back together and we'll go for a quick road trip, little road test. All right guys, I rarely say this, but if you don't have to do this job yourself, I would recommend you let somebody with more experience do it. These were definitely, it was time for them to go. They're both really loose. There's a little bit of play in there. So hopefully this solves my problem. Like I said, we're gonna go for a quick test drive now that I got it all put together. We'll see how it rides. If it's good, then we will call it good and be done with this. All right, in the car, getting ready to go on a test drive, and the first thing I noticed is there's no more clicking when I do this. It was having like a hard click, click, click when I would do that, so that's gone. Let's go driving and see what other changes we see. All right, so I'm driving, intentionally trying to hit the cracks in the road, and it's not tracking the cracks in the road anymore, which is huge improvement, because that was my biggest gripe. Hitting bumps, it doesn't knock it left or right. Here, let's try to track this crack. Nope, not following it anymore. So now I think I'm good to go get an alignment, and it should be straight now. Ride's nice now. A couple hours of work and about $80 in parts. Alright, and that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. The Subaru has a lot more pieces that are coming soon, so we'll be working on this a lot. Yeah, thanks for watching.